sell his car.
No, really, I sold my car.
He did sell his car.
I had a 2006 Mustang GT convertible. I sold it for $15,700 and used it to fund the film.
Yeah. That's the guy that believes in his dream.
Drives a hay wagon.
Just in case you thought he was joking, I thought I was joking.
Dedication, thy name is Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
But it was great working with all the great actors and our crew. Some of, we had a core group of dedicated people, and then we had a rather rotating group of ensemble crew people who kind of came in.
One of the AX staff was a PA?
Yeah, after they experienced the 50-mile-an-hour sandstorm hitting their faces, a lot of them didn't come back the next day. I think we might have left a few out in the desert too. I don't know where the bodies are, but
they're buried under the sand.
Yeah, there's a few new mounds out there. But it's cool now. It works out because now we have gajillion gigabytes of data to edit into a 90-minute movie.
Right. I think it's around 9.
See you guys at Christmas time. I will come out of my cave.
I think we have enough for 26 episodes of a series, don't we?
Yeah, I kind of tweaked. Steve had a script. I took it and I met with him and his co-writer a little bit and had him do a little rewrite. And I said, "Do you mind if I take a little swipe at it? Just a little revision if I could." And I gave it back to him. And I added 400 and some special effects shots and a whole host of other characters and all kinds of other crap in there that.
But he got us a special effects artist, an incredible one who's worked on, can we say, Cowboys and Aliens, and also Source Code. So
he's working on Men in Black 3 right now.
Men in Black 3 right now. I don't know why this guy is working for us. He's a wonderful man. That's all I can say.
Well, they're doing our special effects. So the clips we have here don't really have any special effects, or if they do, they're just cheesy stuff that I did in Final Cut. But when the movie, when we do the rough edit, then it goes to the visual effects people, and then we have some really top people who are waiting to really make this movie rock, make it really cool. Special effects, it's a kind of a sci-fi, thriller, action, fantasy, musical comedy.
Yeah, we brought Vic here. But we are going to make a soundtrack featuring songs by lots of people that are in it, including Vic Mignogna. Christina Vee is working on a song for us. I'm going to do a song. And whoever, possibly Richard might go. So we'll have a soundtrack that'll come along. Oh, I wanted to do something that I forgot.
T-shirts are available now.
Right, we have T-shirts. We're on Facebook for Broken Spirits. Also, you saw BrokenSpiritsFilm.com is the website, so if you want to keep in track. Okay. What I wanted to do before I forgot is actually I didn't really introduce anybody. You probably know who everyone is but me. So, this is Vic Mignogna. My name is Stephen Weiss. I'm often known as Steve Racer. I've been a big anime fan since I was 5 and watched Speed Racer. So that's pretty much how I ended up in that. And so we have Richard Epcar here. So Vic plays my brother, Richard plays Godric the Shaman, Christina Vee plays Valerie, which I shout over and over and over again. And I just have to do this because he walked in. Eric Kimmerer walked in. The winner of AX Idol last year.
He just ran away.
He's been on Anime Olympics, by the way.
Eric!
Yes, Eric Kimmerer. And who else we got here? Kyle Hebert, of course. Cameo. Allison Floyd plays the intrepid reporter. Robert Amico plays my dad. Now Robert has been in Hollywood for like 30, 40 years, a long, long time, and he's been in cool stuff like Hook. He was a pirate in that, so, and of course Peter Bovish, our director. So I just want to make sure you got everybody, is it okay if I show that the last DVD now? Alright, let's see what we got there.
Well, let's throw it.
Yeah, let's
get the lights down. Can we get the lights
Yeah.
down, guys, please? Thank you.
This is the secret one. I don't even know what's on this.
This is a secret one.
No one's ever seen this before.
Answer all your questions about the plot for the movie. Break up the volume, I think.
In a world.
Hello, I'm Richard Epcar, and I'd like to tell you about a motion picture I'm in called Broken Spirits. It's a breezy little romp through the park. A bit of an action story, It's a love story.
Stunts are driving kind of fast.
Travel to other dimensions. It's about friends.
Hello. This one price, wow.
You die! You die! Make it better! Make it better, Scott!
Oh, it has intrigue too. It's a bit of a musical. But most of all, it's about Valerie. Dear, sweet Valerie. Follow along with our production on our website. It's brokenspiritsmovie.com. You'll find it on the internet.
Amazing what you do when you're under the influence of drugs.
Can I get a screen cap of that shirtless Epcar? That could totally be my desktop.
All right, well, we got a few minutes left, and I want to open it up to questions. All right. All right, you.
Okay. This is for Richard.
Yes.
Usually, from what I can tell from your IMDb, you play villains such as Zemnis, my personal favorite, Myotismon.
Yes.
What was your feelings and just why were you play like not an evil character? More like a good guy?
Hey, Bato is good.
Yeah, Monto's a good guy.
And Myotismon.
Why don't I play good guys? Is that what your question is, or?
Why, how can I explain this more? What was your feelings about playing this kind of character, like a shady kind of character?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. Absolutely. I felt right at home in that Hawaiian shirt. No, it was great. It was great fun. I had a lot of fun. It was a great character, and he was a great fun character because he had a lot of levels to him, and he started out kind of being this kind of shady guy who's kind of full of crap, and basically had to kind of went through this transition where he had to actually be a good guy and help people. So it was
There's a character arc.
yeah. So he does become a good guy.
We're writers.
And
We
you
know
will
about that.
find his. You should get his poster. We have him in his leather loincloth. I put a sock in there. So.
I thought it was a cucumber wrapped in tinfoil.
That was next to the sock.
Bless you, Greg.
Boy, wow. Anyway,
I have you on Facebook, of course I know your name.
oh, of course, yeah. What? Anyway, though, that's besides the point. Anyway, to all the actors out there, how long did it take for you guys to come up with the fight choreography, and did you guys suffer other injuries other than just bruises and whatnot?
Oh, that's a good. In fact, I did all the fight choreography pretty much. I did have help from some of my actors who are awesome fighters. Peter Zhang, the guy who's the Indian-looking guy, strange enough. He's like, I can do flips and kick. I'm like, I love you. So we had a big. So each of us, basically, the three main characters, myself as Scott and Christina as Valerie, and then Greg as Trey, had one spirit trying to take their body. So we had a big fight with them in the end. So Greg, big guy, fought Peter Jang, the hello friend guy, and they had such an awesome fight that I had to really go out of my way to make the fight between myself and Spike Spencer even better. So we spent a lot of time on Spike Spencer's roof down in Koreatown, on the roof of his apartment building, which is an awesome view, by the way. If you know Spike, go hang out at his place. It's really cool. And we're on the roof doing sword fighting, you know, for a few days. And I actually hurt myself doing that because I forgot to stretch one of those times. So, you know, when you get a little older, try to remember to stretch. We had a lot of bruises. I took a lot of falls. Christina took a lot of falls. But I do know a little of that since I did do, you know, martial arts and things like that. So I trained most of the actors in falling, things like that. Worked with Richard on a few falls, and so in general, there was no serious injury, but a lot of bruising and things. You know, Christina can show you.
I look like Andy Griffith trying to fall. It was terrible.
Yeah, but I loved it because I'm going to get a fight choreography credit too. And who else? Oh, Spike has done some sword work, so he helped choreograph our sword fighting scene too. And honestly, I'm kind of sad because Scott is not supposed to know how to use a sword, so I have to be kind of bad with it. And I've been sword fighting since 1995, so I'm like, great, now people see me on the screen going, hey, like an idiot. But Spike's stuff looks amazing. But yeah, you know, just because he and I both did sword, we decided to have a sword fight, and you know, and Christina and Excel, we at the last minute decided to throw them in the water because it's hot. And they did it! We're like, we're gonna throw you in the water. And they're like, okay. So, I don't know why.
And I punched Excel in the face.
You did, there was a punch where
yeah, that was bad.
Punched our actress, Christina's evil spirit, in the face.
Yeah, there's a thing where the camera was behind me and I had to punch her and pull back. And we did it a couple of times, and then a third time she kind of leaned in and I just kind of connected with her. Oh. Knocked her back on her butt, actually. It was kind
I didn't choreograph that.
And I hope we used that shot, Peter, because that would look like a real punch. That's pretty close to a real thing.
We go for realism in our film. All right, you, the orange wig there.
Oh, I was actually looking at the clip, the cactus to the face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait till you see that whole thing. There's even better with her pulling away with all these needles sticking out of her face.
She ended up getting pulled out of her face. That's the fun.
I think she got the point.
Did you have a question about that? What was there?
I was just wondering, she really was a prop cactus, or?
Are we allowed to tell?
No. I will tell you one thing. It's very interesting because before we shot, we did a few these little promo things with Vic and Christina and Richard, a few other people. We just shot little videos and talked to them about their fears going into this. And it was so interesting because I just met Christina, sat down with the camera, and I said, you know, what are your biggest fears? And I had just rewritten the script, and I throwing the cactus in the face scene on there.
Like the day before.
The day before. And I said, what are your fears? And she said, like something like snakes. She said something. The other one was cactus. She said cactus, and I said, boy, are you...
Okay, tell the story.
Guys, when I was a kid, I don't know, but I thought that if you touched a cactus, you would turn into a cactus person. And I really did have a phobia of cactus. I couldn't.
You mean that's not true?
It's not true. But yeah, I couldn't be around cactus. I couldn't go to Knott's Berry Farm because they had cactus. It was bad.
There's a cactus guy walking up the stairs towards you. I don't know if you saw that.
I made peace with the cactus.
On our location, I just want to say that cactus guy, what a prick.
All right, the blue shirt in the back.
First off, Richard Epcar, I saw what you did there. My question is, what were your biggest inspirations for the screenplay for this movie?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Well, Joseph and I got together and said, all right, we have one location that we can use. Write a story that fits there. Okay, it's in the desert. What happens in the desert? I don't know. Wait, there was that sweat lodge thing. And honestly, when we first wrote this, we didn't know we were going to have a special effects artist. So we got together, and we talked, and we said, oh, let's do this. Oh, we can't. We don't have the budget for that. Because literally, there's so many things that cost money. Like even setting up our car wreck scene. You know, we were originally going to like flip a car and all this, and there was all these safety concerns and you know, what car would we use, and you know, we really had to can a lot of our ideas to do that. And Joseph actually had something to say. What do you have to say?
Well, I'd say, like, as far as inspiration, I know you were set, even though we had no budget, on doing a science fiction film.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, desert, science fiction film, alternate dimension, because that maybe if you shoot desert a certain way, you really don't need special effects to make it look alternate. So that was the main thing.
Right, so there was a lot of, you know, a lot of it was really, this was the most challenging screenplay I've written. I've written like 9 of them. And this one had to be very specific. One location, pretty much, in the desert, even though we got a few more locations later, but pretty much all the desert and very little special effects. And I really tried to keep it very safe for my actors because they did all their own stunts.
Our insurance agent is in the back. They did not do any of their stunts, just want to admit that.
Oh,
Our
right.
insurance guy's back there. No, they didn't do any of their stunts.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it was very safe. But, you know, we made everything very simple and very basic, but still we tried to put all the meat into the story. It's a very deep psychological story where the evil spirits go into our minds and see what our worst fears are and make us live through them. So, you know, my character's brother died in a car accident. So I'm trapped in a car with my brother, who's now alive again and blames me. So stuff like that, that it really goes through. Yeah, so, yes.
Well, actually, to piggyback on his question, we met at the Robotech 25th anniversary dinner. I think I explained that I had done mixed martial arts to you. We spoken about martial arts for a while.
Yes.
I actually wish I had known. I actually know the lady who did the fight choreography for 300. I would have put you.
So why are you telling me this now so I'll cry?
It's okay, we're doing the sequel, so it's okay.
You know what? Get me her number anyway.
I'll give it to you, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Hey, it's
Look a brother up, right?
I got the contact.
Okay.
Should let me know, man.
Okay, yes. Thank you. Yes, you.
I just
You gotta erase your hand, Aaron. I was calling a little girl behind you. Then you can go. Okay.
Indiana Jones called, he wants his hat back.
Go ahead, please.
I was just wondering, how long did pre-production take?
Pre-production? What's that?
3 hours.
3 hours. We started writing the screenplay in December.
January.
Okay, I started the idea in December.
January 3rd is when we started writing.
Okay, we actually started.
Who came up with the cross-dressing part? That's what I want to know.
And then we had something kind of done by March, and then we met with Peter around April, and then started pre-production April. Originally, this is what Peter was mentioning before. I had 2 people with red cameras who volunteered to work for free, an entire crew, and then they vanished. So I had nothing, and that's when I fortunately met Peter, who came in and said, "Hey, I've got a camera, I can get us Google," and so he kind of resurrected it from the dead, as it were. But yeah, so we kind of started in April and started shooting April 30th. So yeah, 30 days.
Pre-production, we had about a 3-hour dinner meeting at this restaurant in North Hollywood, and that was pretty much our pre-production. Then we went our separate ways and we showed up.
Was it the Sand and Spirit Inn?
That's not true. We had lots and lots of meetings. Lots.
Lots of meetings.
We know where your 2 red guys went.
Really?
Yeah. Alternate dimension.
Oh, right.
There you go.
They were still inviting the spirit. Okay, Hat Man.
I was just wondering if you're going to call the soundtrack Sweat Lodging to the Oldies.
Next! Yes.
Wow.
I wanted to know what was kind of everybody's like greatest challenge to overcome in this whole like production thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's go down.
Learning lines was very tough for us because we're spoiled. We go into the booth and we have our lines right there and we just read them. So it's kind of nice to do that and then to have these long spiels to have to memorize it.
Godric had very long speeches about the Sweat Lodge. He would explain what the journey was like and all this stuff. And I gave him a lot of lines. Well, you know, Peter helped do that too.
Yes.
But yeah, he's very long, and they're all not separated by other people. You know, usually if they're separated, you can go off of a cue from somebody else. He just gives this really long speech twice. He gives 2 of them. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
Vic, what about you?
There was nothing difficult about it. It was a wonderful experience. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't have anywhere near as much responsibility as any of the rest of these guys. So I kind of had the good fortune of just kind of coming in one evening and climbing in a car and getting some really awesome makeup. She was really great.
She's great.
Yeah, I looked like I had
Her
really,
makeup's not too bad.
I looked like I had really been in a car accident, and I took a picture, and I sent it to a friend of mine. I'm like, please say a prayer for me. I was in a really bad accident.
I did that to my mom. She knew it was a movie right away, though.
Yeah, and but there was nothing. It was just purely an enjoyable experience. It was great to meet the new guys, the new friends down at the end there, and I just
Who let
had
those
fun.
guys in?
There was nothing hard for me. It was just a blast. It was a wonderful time.
You didn't even have to drive to the desert.
I know. I kind of wish I had. That sounds kind of fun.
Oh my God.
You know, kind of being tortured for your, sacrificing for your art.
I was standing out in the desert winds with just a t-shirt going, "This is acting!" As it is, yeah, suffering for your art.
And you were alone at the time.
We shot Vic scenes in a studio that was a friend of mine. He had the Academy Award for Terminator 2. So it was all this cool stuff that everybody was getting to enjoy.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That wasn't a challenge at all, though. He's totally not answering your question.
Here, Christina, what was
No, I was going to say... No, go ahead, Christina. I'm sorry.
I think, okay, the most challenging thing for me was I work all week, and so the weekends was the time to like hang out with my friends and with my boyfriend, and I didn't have that for 2 months. Well, it's still continuing because I'm going to convention every weekend this month. So that was the hardest part for me was, just kind of that brief period of disconnect from friends and family. But it was fun because we made like a new set family.
Yes.
Yeah, that we had to spend. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. That was just the hardest part was missing my friends.
Wow. Well, I wrote this and I wanted to act in it, and I'm kind of the main character, but I also ended up producing and executive producing, and that was something I'm not really so good at. I mean, I'm good at some things, I'm good at working with people, but I'm not organized, and I'm so glad I had the other producers with me, because I'm not a paperwork person. I hate that stuff. I hate meetings. I hate long meetings. I hate paperwork, and so these guys, took care of that. We did have meetings, and they're very pleasant to work with. I just don't like the concept of meetings in general. But we had lots of them, and just producing was something that was very foreign to me, except for, Christina and I did our little anime Olympic show, which my prep for that was like 2 hours, and I'd write the script and give her props, and okay, let's do our show. But this was, I had to line up, I had help from the other producers, thank God, but I had to line up cast, crew, locations, all this stuff that I had no idea, how to do it all. And a lot of times on set, people would come to me with this problem. Here's a problem. And I'd have to solve it. I'm kind of the man in charge. And I'd have no idea how to solve this problem. This happened to me probably every day, once a day. I'd have a problem I had no idea how to solve. And I'd be like, okay, I'll solve it. I would have to figure out a way to solve it. And I did. I don't know how. I really, am very thankful that that there was divine influence on this project to help out, because I needed it. And that was so challenging, though. And it's really not something I had much experience with. And so I'm thankful for all the help that I had. And my actors and folks were really understanding when we were behind schedule, or when the vegetarians didn't have vegetarian food, or, they were very understanding that we were doing everything. And we're shooting on the weekends, but during the week, every day, I was doing something. I was working on marketing. I talked to Anime Expo, and I said, hey, you guys want to help produce our film? And they said yes. And then I picked myself up off the floor. Like, really? Really? And so they did, and so here we are. But yeah, so it was very challenging, but it worked out somehow.
The moral of the story is, if you have a nice car, you can make a film. You too can make a movie.
My God, yeah.
Now, can I just add one thing? From being on the outside, I've known Steve for a long time. And you guys, if you take nothing else away from this panel, one thing I think would be great for you to take away is anything you really want to do, you can make it happen. If you have enough drive and passion for it. Steve wanted to do this, and there are 1,000 people that I'd like to do this and I want to do that, but they never are willing to put in what is necessary and make the sacrifices. And it's really, I really admire Steve for doing anything he could possibly do to realize this dream. And it should be an encouragement to any of you that are interested in pursuing something and you wonder if you can ever do it, you can do it.
You're gonna make me cry. I can't believe this happened. I am so thankful to my wonderful, I'm a fan. Look, I listened to this guy growing up, you know. And when I'd come home from high school, I'd watch Robotech, you know, and I'd hear this guy, you know, and I've been him in the video game. I called him up and I said, dude, I'm playing FMA 2, and I'm playing you. And he says, yes, you are! and Christina, to seeing her when I met her in ALA years ago and living her dream now and doing all these wonderful roles and everything, I'm so happy to be working with these awesome people. And I even got Kyle to come out and be in this. I don't believe this is happening. It's really incredible. What I want to do, and because again, it's just a selfish thing for me, I want to take one more question, and I want to show that last clip again because it's so awesome that with Richard and everything. So one more question. Anyone? Okay, we don't have a couple. Christy, yes.
I just have one because I know Godric is your character, right?
Yes.
And you sort of hinted that he redeems himself a little bit, and I've seen you face your great fear with Big Brother.
Yes.
And you
Brother?
it's obvious. Anyway, I think that's a really cool idea for the story.
So we have beans for dinner? What was it? Sorry.
I was just wondering, you know, how many redemption stories are there in this film? And I don't know if you can answer that briefly, but
There's a lot of redemption. That's a good question.
Well, you know, Luke helps Darth Vader. That's in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, the main
all the bottles
characters.
at the end of the movie? Redeemed all our liquor bottles. Okay.
The main characters face their fears, but they're not really so much messed up so much. Well, I mean, Valerie's character is an exception. She's really had a lot of bad stuff happen. You know, Scott has been through the car accident, and you know, Trey has been through where he used to be in a gang and now he's a Buddhist kind of thing. So, so yeah, I was faced with his violent past, and it's not so much. I wouldn't say it's so much redemption, more of just facing your fear kind of thing, you know. But there is a growth and a change in the characters by the end, and there's tension because at the beginning, Valerie and Scott are unhappy with each other. And she's mean, by the way. You know, we wrote these lines for her, but she was like really mean. I'm like, I didn't imagine you being this mean, Christina. Yeah, shut up. Right. So there's a lot of tension in the beginning, but we make up. It's very.
I think my guy goes through.
He goes through redemption.
Yeah, absolutely does, and you know, because he just is kind of this guy who's just kind of living on the edge. He's a guy who lives in a trailer in the desert, you know, and he's just doing anything he can to make some money, basically, and he doesn't really believe in what he's doing. And then when all this stuff starts happening, when people start disappearing, he goes, well, I gotta kind of do something about this. So, and then at the end, he goes off, and he's the spirit hunter, you know, at the end. So, you know, so he does go through a complete transition as a character.
Yeah, we wanted to give even the smaller characters an arc. You know, that was something that Joseph and I talked about a lot. Is we don't want to have too many flat characters. You know, we want to really give it meat because, again, originally we weren't going to have effects or fighting or a lot of stuff, so we wanted to give the story a lot of depth. But now we have depth and effects and fighting. So this is going to be a pretty good movie.
It's going to be cool.
And we'll probably have it done, you know, this fall, winter sometime. You know,
Actually, Peter's going to finish editing it by tomorrow.
By tomorrow. If you'll all humor me, I want to play that last clip again because I had never seen it before. Is that all right? All right.
Yes.
Lloyd, give me the honors to play that now.
Lower the lights for the love of God.
I love that so much.
Thank you.
You know, it's a good message, you know, to collaborate and really believe in what you're doing. That's all. You know, the actors showed up. They saw everybody believed in what we were doing. They all fell in. We had great performances. And Richard.
Hello, I'm Richard Epcar, and I'd like to tell you about a motion picture I'm in called Broken Spirits. It's a breezy little ride through the park. A bit of an action story. Oh, it's a love story. It's got cars and trucks.